I want to send some greetings to my Word on Fire family as we come toward the end of our time here in Rome, this absolutely extraordinary week. You know, everyone said, including me, there'll never be an American Pope. So Robert Prevost's name surfaced from time to time, but we all said, oh yeah, he's a very qualified guy, but he'll never be elected. I was relying on Cardinal George, who was my mentor, who said, until America goes into political decline, there'll never be an American Pope. Well, he was wrong and I was wrong. So we have an American Pope, and it was, I think it's fair to say, kind of a shock to everybody. The reaction of almost anyone you talked to yesterday was stunned. They were just amazed, you know. So we've all been sort of taking it in, trying to figure it out. You know, I met him at the first session of the Synod on Synodality. So the last 2 Octobers, I spent a month here in Rome, and Cardinal Prevost was also part of that synod. And I remember distinctly going up to him. I think it was at St. Peter's. We just had a mass, and I was coming down the aisle, and I ran into him. And I think maybe we had met in Chicago many years before, but if I had, I'd forgotten about it. And I went up to him, and I just said, oh, it's nice to meet you. And at the time, he had just been named prefect for the Dicastery of Bishops. And so I said to him, well, you got a big job. And he just kind of smiled, you know. Little did I know he had a bigger job coming. What I've been reflecting on, you know, he's not only an American, he's from Chicago. He's from my hometown. In fact, he grew up in Dalton. I grew up in Western Springs. In good traffic, which you don't have very often in Chicago, but in good traffic, I could get to Dalton in about 25 minutes. He's only, I think, 4 years older than I am, 4 or 5 years older. So we're basically the same generation, came of age in the same time, in the same city. And I find that kind of wonderful. You know, I've had a chance to meet popes and deal with them a little bit. And you always sense, well, what language will I speak? And will I fully understand? And will he know where I'm coming from? Now, you know, I hope I have a chance to meet him at some point, and I'd feel so completely at home with him. So all that's kind of wonderful. I'm a Cub fan. He's a Sox fan, evidently, so we don't have that in common. But, you know, wonderful connections there. But I've also been thinking, yeah, he's an American, and yeah, he's from Chicago. But at the end of the day, the Pope is the Holy Father. He's the father of everybody, of all 1.4 billion Catholics around the world. Every Pope is from somewhere, but every Pope has to be the Pope for the entire world. And I think he's gestured that way. When he came in the loggia and spoke Latin, Spanish, and Italian, didn't speak a word of English. I think this morning at Mass he said a little bit of English. But I think he wants to signal that, you know, he's not tied to his home culture, but really is a man of many cultures. And that's appropriate for the Pope. He's the shepherd. He's the one in whom we find our unity. And that's exceptionally important. So I'm just, you know, as I pray now, I'm thinking about him a lot, and praying for him, and praying that he has this unifying effect on the life of the church. So I urge you to pray for him, and then pray for me and our team as we prepare to head back home. God bless you.